Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to start out with this deck, The Four Agreements by Del Miguel Ruiz. I've already shuffled the deck, so I'm going to take the card on top, which is Cultivate Faith. Ooh, I love that. To have great faith, it is to have great power because your intent will... Oh, wait a minute. What am I saying? Okay, because your intent... Your will is undivided. When your word isn't dissipated by doubt, the power of your word becomes even stronger. So, beautiful. Doubt. It is something that we can relate to, right? But doubt is the opposite of faith. And doubt stems from a disbelief in ourselves. And faith, right, stems from a belief in something greater than just what our five senses can see. Taste, hear, smell, sense, right, and touch. So when I say sense, I was referring to the physical touch. So that's the difference between both, and one will trap us and one will free us. Now, the challenge is, right, to walk in faith because our five senses will always look for proof. In other words, let's say, we see X amount of money in our account and right, we think, oh, it's not that much or it's not enough. We're using our five senses, right, to see, a certain number that we don't think is enough for what we want or what we think we should have. And we run, from there. In other words, it just, snowballs from there. But with faith, right, we look at that same account and we trust, right? We know, we believe that this may be fact, right? Meaning that it is what's the present situation, but it's not our truth. In other words, it is not the truth of what, or our truth. In other words, it doesn't have to be what is always going to be. In other words, that's a fluid number. Like it's there, yes, that's what it is in the moment, but it's not just a stagnant number, right? In other words, it's not just always going to be that, that can change, right? Is fluid. In other words, this is what we have today, tomorrow we have this much, and the day after we have this much, and so forth. This can change, but we get caught up with our five senses and just fixate on what our five senses are seeing, and we get locked in. So we want to practice, right, breaking out of that pattern, because that automatic pattern and habit is not 100% true. In other words, it might be a fact, but it's not truth. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to stay, and it doesn't mean X, Y, Z. In other words, you can start out with a little and end up with a lot. You can start out with a lot and end up with a little. It's a fluid system, and anything can change. Yes, we are a participant, right, in this thing called life, right, in our journey. And so our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions are going to affect, right, our experiences. But nothing is stagnant. It is fluid. And when we anchor ourselves in faith, right, we then are choosing to accept that even though we cannot see it at the moment, or even though we do not possess it in the moment, it is available to us. And that belief then is a game changer, right? Because it's not like, oh my God, this is what I have and this is all it is, or my relationship is like this and this is the way it's always going to be. There isn't an always going to be this way, because it doesn't always have to be this way. Life is fluid. Our job is to flow with it, right? And not to get caught up in the five senses and or in what's happening in our current situation and holding on to that, for dear life, and accepting that as truth. These are facts, not truths, and there's a difference. And shifting from that perspective and moving into faith opens up doors for us, because when we believe that, right, there is more available to us, or there's more going on than just a physical experience, that there's this divine energy, right, that is everything, right? It just opens us up to more, because we are able to believe in more, right? In other words, if we can't, right, see it for ourselves, in other words, we can't envision it, we don't believe it as possible, then it makes it harder for us to create it, and to experience it. But when we walk in faith, right, now we know that when we see this and this doesn't feel good, or this concerns us, we know that this is a moment in time, not what the rest of the journey has to be for us. In other words, it doesn't have to be like this forever. This is what it is in the moment. And our job is to look at that and not get consumed by it. Whatever the situation is, whether it's a relationship, a work experience, or any challenge that we're experiencing, reminding ourselves that life is fluid, and that there's more than just our five senses, right? And that our physical experience, this is our temporary home, not our permanent home. This is where we come for a moment in time to experience things. But our soul lives beyond our bodies and our journey here in this physical body that we walk in, right? This is the garment, but not the eternal self. The eternal self is something different. And that's what we want to remember, so that we can walk in faith, right? And trust that a moment in time doesn't speak for an entire journey. Our faith guides us through our journey, and through our faith, we can create more for ourselves in our journey. So before I go any further, I do want to pick a word from my bag of words and see what else I'm inspired to share to this message. Let's see. Oh boy, I got 3 words. I swear I can't make this stuff up. I didn't even go for that. Okay, but I got it, so no problem. Oh, disgust, which is a word that I think I've gotten. Yeah, I've gotten definitely before. Better. Oh, and fear. So, I'm going to start with disgust, because when we hang on to our 5 senses, disgust is what we're going to feel with life at some point, because our 5 senses will definitely present the picture to us that can be very bleak. And when we are feeling, when we are seeing that, through those lenses and that picture, yes, disgust is something that we're bound to feel somewhere along our journey. And fear, we're going to feel a lot of fear. We're going to have a lot of doubt as well. And this fear is going to entrap us. So we want to be careful with that. And so if we want to feel better, we want to walk in faith, and or at least learn to start practicing, right, to walk more in faith, and to think of our experience as more expansive and not limited, because that is where we are able to create deeper movement and lasting change, and more joyful experiences, because they're centered in truth. They're centered in divine truth. And that's what walking in faith gives us. So we want to remember, right, that if we want to feel better, right, we have to expand. We must expand how we are viewing our experiences and how we view our essence and our life, so that we can break through barriers and have breakthroughs and create more positive momentum for ourselves. And walk in the remembrance, right, that made me think, that just came to my head, right? With God, all things are possible. So that's the power and the difference when we walk in faith. We remind ourselves, right, that with God, all things are possible. And now we're not just limited beings, we are limitless beings. That's, Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So I'm going to end with that. And I hope that this video helps you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I upload more videos. And if you want to find out more about other things that I'm doing, you can visit my website, and all the information is down below. All right. Bye for now, and have a beautiful day.